The indigenous peoples of Australia arrived on the smallest of continents more than 50,000 years ago. While scientists yet debate the time and details of how Aboriginal people came to be in Australia, they themselves conceive of themselves as coming from the dream time, a time when the ancestors awoke from the mud and sang every living and non-living thing into being. For the Aboriginal people, the tangible places and objects of the landscape have been left behind by their ancestors from the dream time. Watering holes, rocks, mountains, plant formations, and other features of the landscape can be recognized by Aboriginal people today as belonging to that very real mytho-historical landscape, linking past, present, and future. Within the Aboriginal worldview, sacredness is localized within the landscape, and the songs of the dreaming serve to memorialize and create mnemonic links to the ancestors and the sacred through three-dimensional space. Thus, for the Aboriginal people of Australia, the infrastructure of their culture is so central to their existence that it may be said to completely pervade the superstructure of their culture. The very landscape itself is filled with symbol of the ancestors and of the creation. To varying degrees, fire is important to all the peoples of the world. It was probably one of the first technologies developed by the antecedents of modern humans. In Aboriginal Australia, fire was central to their hunter-gatherer subsistence lifestyle in a very crucial way, as well as being a large part of social and ceremonial life. Fire was a culture core. Fire was so central to the pre-Western enculturation time and modes of living that there is a saying in use by Aborigines today, fire stick way, to refer to these old pre-modern ways of living. Colonist Edward Kerr, who lived in Australia in the first half of the 19th century, wrote in his reminiscences of the Aborigines, "Living principally on wild roots and animals, he tilled his land and cultivated his pastures with fire. And we shall not perhaps be far from the truth if we conclude that almost every part of Australia was swept over by a fierce fire. It may perhaps be doubted whether any section of the human race has exercised a greater influence on the physical condition of any large portion of the globe than the wandering savages of Australia." The indigenous Australians were a fire people. They carried fire with them everywhere, from place to place, in the form of smoldering firebrands that would burn for up to 2 hours. From this, anthropologist Rhys Jones coined his term fire stick farming. One of the critical first uses of landscape burning for the Aboriginal people was to improve conditions for getting food. The hunting of larger animals, like kangaroo, could be facilitated by driving them out of bushy areas on the heels of conflagrations, allowing greater and more numerous access. But even more beneficially, access was granted to burrowing things and their eggs and young, perhaps already conveniently barbecued. Burning also aided the growth of favored forage plants, as well as tender new growth grasses that would attract the marsupials for further hunting. Some Aboriginal groups conceived of as many as 9 different seasons, something that was far different from the Western conception of 4 and only 4 every year. These seasons were demarcated by such things as when the first dew appeared on a certain type of leaf and at what time of day. Fire played a role in the ceremonial realm of many clans of Aboriginal people. In this video, men are in the act of performing the Jodi Wampa, the fire dance of the Waripiri, northern Arnhem Land. But there were also spiritual elements to the act of firing the landscape as well. Land that was not burned for for some time became difficult to travel through, but also was thought to harbor bad spirits. To burn the land was considered taking care of country, which fulfilled obligations to the living and to the ancestors. Some places and vegetation types were considered special and kept from burning. Often, burning was initiated in these places in order to keep fuel loads down around a sacred place so that it might not burn itself.